Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Not for Time podcast. I'm Sean Woodland.
I'm John Wooley.
And today we are talking to TV personality / CrossFit enthusiast, Uncle Dale Mills from the TLC reality show OutDaughtered. But before we get to that, John, I have to wish you a happy birthday, my friend.
Thanks. It was a wild day yesterday. This is the oldest it is the oldest I've ever been, but anytime I click one of those birthdays as a 0 or a 5 on it, I don't know. It just hits different. And yesterday hit different. But well, this is the big milestone though, because the weights go down in the open.
That's why I'm jealous of you, is because you're finally reaching that period. Like I'm still a few years away from that. Not to rub it in that I'm younger. Yeah.
35-pound dumbbells, baby. I can't wait.
You're going to crush it.
Bring them on.
And by the way, posting the thirst traps on Instagram too. I mean, I hope I look that good at 55. My God.
No, set aside the thirst trap. Like what was fun for me in that was going back through all the photos of all the years and having to select, you got 14 years of stuff to look back over. And unfortunately, I don't have a lot of photos from the super early years. But going back and just seeing photos with, the Pancheks or Fisagavi or whoever was coaching me at the time. And now they're off doing other, really cool things. And here I am still a very average CrossFitter. Was fun for me, just to be able to see that journey and to look back at my friends, things I've done people with, competitions, races, scores, whatever. It was a real emotional moment of, I've found this surrogate family.
Yeah.
At late in life at 41 that has now created these lifelong friendships. And I don't know, it was really humbling and emotional and fun and all the above. So made for a really good birthday. So thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. And I think that, the older you get, the more you realize, it really started hitting me especially when I turned 50, about how finite time is. And I think you start appreciating things like birthdays and those moments even more because, we're on the back 9, that's a fact. Yeah. So you just start to, that starts to set in, but I'm glad you enjoyed it. I hope you had a lot of well wishes online along with your, the sprinkling of the regular trolls. So
yep, always.
All right, let's get into it. Like I said, we're speaking with Uncle Dale Mills. He has been on the TLC reality show OutDaughtered. We talked to him about CrossFit, fitness in general, how it's helped him. We talk about marriage and how he's managed that with his wife that he's been with since 19 years old. And of course, we talk a little bit about how he got involved with the reality TV world. So without further ado, here's our conversation with Uncle Dale Mills. Dale, thanks so much for doing this, man. Okay, first off, where does this podcast find you?
We are I'm in League City, Texas, about 30 minutes south of Houston. So kind of considered suburbs of Houston, Texas. So we're kind of the Bay Area. We're along Galveston Bay. I mean, I live maybe a mile and a half from the Bay of Galveston right there. So,
okay. And it's CrossFit Kema, correct?
Kema. Yep. We actually had I
recognize the name.
Our team was in the CrossFit Games last year. Yeah. We got a really competitive gym, but our team, we're the ones that had the girl that's 5 foot tall and the guy that's 6'7". So they're they got a lot of camera play because of such the disparity in their height, But but yeah, we've been I've been doing CrossFit probably 4.5 years now here in Kema, from Louisiana, but we've been doing that there, and man, it's a highly competitive gym. It's fun, man. I was always one of the gym bros back in the day, and decided to give CrossFit a try after I picked on my buddies for years that did it. Kind of, sending the memes on Instagram back in the day to going all in on it to where you're like, dude, now I get it,
Mm-hmm.
So
what do you think? Go ahead, John.
I want to say it's funny how it's become more mainstream. I think a lot of people did that in the early days, Dale. When we first started in CrossFit, we were doing so many dumb things. The gym bros just loved abusing us. But now it's become so streamlined and mainstream. I think a lot of the gym bros are realizing they can get in and out an hour, and they don't want to spend 2 to 3 hours in the gym. They still look and feel great. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, no, I think that's the biggest thing. I think as I got older, so I'm 42 now. So I was, late 30s when I started it. But the last few years of the gym, I'd get in there, we start talking or whatever. And it just like nothing was getting done. I had no progress. So COVID hit, then we started CrossFit to where I seen like, okay, man, I can show up, I don't think about it. I can try not to die for an hour and then I get out of there. But like, as far as I think the time in my life and then like the aesthetics of what CrossFit's done, like, I'm my best shape at 42, you know, it's crazy to think that, but I am, you know, way better shape I was in my 20s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Going to the gym.
Yep. I remember thinking it like at your age, I was like, I could tune my 25-year-old self up right now.
No doubt.
You know, it's just crazy what a difference that makes. So when did you know that, okay, I'm hooked?
Man, it was probably, you know, the funny thing is when I went to like the regular gym, the gym we went to here, I would go and you would see, like I could go at 5 a.m. I can go at 9, I could go at 4 in the afternoon. I'd see the same people and it would drive me insane. Like I hated seeing the same people at the gym. I don't know why. It just bugged me more than anything. Then you start CrossFit and then you want to see the same people there. Such a different community aspect of it to where I think we started doing it. And then I instantly made a friend, like on a partner WOD Saturday, you know, kind of linked up with a guy and we became best friends. But I think that was like the time where you're like, oh man, you're more accountable. And then you're getting with these people and the community really is the biggest driver I felt for CrossFit. That's been the biggest thing for me and my wife. And so I think we got hooked pretty early, but we got a good group of people at our gym. So that makes it fun. You know, everybody's good time. We clown around a lot at our gym. I'm sure that's how a lot of them are, and it's highly competitive, which I'm not the competitive one. I'm just there, but you know, we got some guys there that really care about it. So
you don't have someone that you're silently competing with. Like I always have people that I come in that I'm competing with them, but they don't know we're competing. You know what I mean?
100%. I'm looking at the leaderboard on our app every day, and I'm like, damn it, he got me. The dude's like 55. Me and him, I hate him, but I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get him one of these days. But yeah, I think that's the fun part about it. You know, my wife's she's even more competitive than me. Like her and one of her friends, they argue every day. If she beats her friend's saying she didn't do all her reps, and she calls me pissed off because her friend they got an argument over the workout. You know, it's fun. It's funny how that is, but yeah, I mean, you definitely have some internal competitions, and then when we have our gym competitions and like inner gym competitions, that makes it really fun. You know,
you obviously have a very public persona. You know, a lot of people follow you on social media. Have you had anybody reach out to you and say, "Hey, man, I got involved in this because I saw you do it," or I've decided to turn my life around fitness wise because I saw you? And if so, like, what are those? What have those been for you?
You know, I think when we started it, we had a lot of people. You had a lot of people coming out and saying, "Hey, I do CrossFit as well." Or obviously people ask us a lot, like, "Hey, what have you guys been doing? You look great." Like, you know, I was like, man, I owe it to CrossFit just because of how much it's changed my aesthetics versus the gym, you know? So I do feel like I can't think of any certain time, but I know over the last 4.5 years, I know there's people been asking us, or we've turned people on to CrossFit that were on the fence about it or were curious because, you know, we've spoke highly of it. I'm like, man, it's really fun. Jump into it. And like I said, I think the showing up and just getting after it, that makes such a big difference. Especially if you're in a rut, that's the best thing to go do to kind of see if that can get you out of it. And I think that's where it goes from where you go like, oh, I'm going to try a couple of days. And then before you know it, you're going 5 days a week and going to the Saturday WODs. I mean, then you're like, you get hooked, you know. It's crazy how that is, but it's totally true. All the stuff you heard about it in the past.
Yeah, it's weird the little things you get hooked on too. Like you mentioned the community. Like I find moments where I get addicted to going in and just hanging out with my buddies. And then I have moments where I have to go in and kick their ass in a workout. And then I have moments where I just have to go in and have what I consider therapy for myself. You know, just go in and abuse my body. And I think that's one of the beautiful parts about our community is that you have so many people in these different lanes of where they are, but we all come together to support each other. And it makes it really unique and special, as opposed to just, showing up at, whatever, Globo gym you would go to be a gym bro. And to your point, seeing those people every single time you go in at noon, it's the same guy taking the rack,
Oh yeah, it's wild, but yeah, it's fun, man. Like I told some buddies from the gym the other day, I was like, hey, I said, I was mentioning about you guys, which, people have been doing CrossFit, obviously know who you, Sean, are. And they know John. We actually share your memes a lot of times on our community page. I'll see them pop up or I'll share some. And I was telling some guys I was being your podcast. They're like, well, why are you going to be on there? You're not even good. I'm like, I know. I'm not.
Well, there's three of us. So
they just had Matt Frazier and Jacob Hepner on. I was like, obviously, I should be the next in line for the CrossFit.
What is your athletic background?
What's that?
What's your athletic background?
Man, I grew up playing baseball, and then about 10, 11 years old, I started playing golf. And then when high school started, I quit playing baseball to play golf. I played competitive golf from like 11, 12 years old. Obviously I played all sports, so I was always active. My dad was a bodybuilder my whole life. So I grew up in that life where he was a big meathead. Like I said, that was the stuff that I grew up around. And I didn't work out. I didn't start working out until I was 24 years old because I played golf. And back then it really wasn't like now you see how big the fitness world is in golf. These guys are like fine-tuned athletes now, most of them. Mm-hmm. And that wasn't the thing back then. And so when I graduated high school, I was 6 foot, 135 pounds.
Wow.
So you can imagine what that looked like. And when I was 24, I kept growing after high school. When I was 24, I started working out, I was 6'2", 160. So just like skinny fat, like, nothing. And so started hitting the weights. And man, in a year and a half, I went to 215. So I put some size on. Mm-hmm. And so I've always kind of carried that. But man, like I said, I always liked working out. And then, like I said, I think the gym just gets old. There's nothing there making you want to go. Like CrossFit makes you want to show up, like our owner, if I missed 2 days, so I'll show up. He's like, dude, what? I don't cancel your membership, dude. I figured you stopped coming. It's one of those kind of things where you need to sign a new waiver form because you haven't been here in a little while, kind of thing. But that's what makes it fun, makes you want to keep going back. So, but as far as the background, man, it's just normal stuff. Growing up in a small town, played every sport. Always played sports with kids. I still active in sports. So, I got a 15-year-old daughter and about to be a 13-year-old son. So I got to stay fit to kick their ass in any sport we play. Really, that's the main thing.
Do they go with you?
No, when we have like the community events, they'll come. But my daughter's to the age now. I said, hey, it's like she does the summer stuff at school for lifting because she plays competitive volleyball. But I was like, you need to start getting her into CrossFit because I wish I'd have started this in my 20s or earlier. I was like, man, I just think about what it did to me late 30s. I was like, man, how much further along you could be in your fitness journey if you really started this early. So I want to get them started earlier than I did. But they're active. They play sports. So far as like I've told people, man, I was always strong at the gym, but CrossFit made me like strong everywhere. Help your core. For golf, that's a big deal. So, like I said, it's one of those things where I think for the functional fitness side and just being healthy, this is the best that I've found, that really helps.
Yeah, I always found it made me mentally strong. I love the physical benefits, don't get me wrong, but the workouts are so hard.
Yeah.
When I had to do something hard outside of the gym, all of a sudden it was like, all right, I can do that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
just got my ass kicked for 2 hours at CrossFit Distinction. Yeah, I can go move some boxes for 45 minutes. That's not a big deal,
Yeah, my biggest thing for me with the golf, you start playing and towards the back half of 18 holes, I'd get tired. And after doing CrossFit for a while, like, man, I could play 36 holes in a day and I don't feel fatigued. My back don't get tired. Like, that's changed up everything in my just kind of day-to-day life. I feel, I had more injuries. Obviously, I'm sure you heard this. I told Blade to go and do CrossFit, or you tell him now, oh, I bet you hurt yourself all the time. I'm like, I had more injuries in the gym than I did at CrossFit. And I'm older now. I know my body. I'm like, dude, I will scale a workout better than anybody in the gym. Trust me, dude.
Same.
I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm doing ring rows a day. I'm not doing whatever, it's kind of one of those, it's kind of one of my running jokes in the gym, but they know I'm usually on my phone the whole time anyway because of work. So they give me shit all the time.
I think there's a lot of similarities between golf and CrossFit, and that in golf, people say, even if you're not good at it, like you'll hit one good shot.
Yeah.
One good shot. And you're like, I'm coming back. Like, that's it. I know I can do it. And CrossFit's kind of the same thing. It's like, hey, that workout sucked, but you know what? I was able to string together, whatever amount of pull-ups that I'm making progress. I'm coming back. Like, do you find that did that carry over from the golf course into the gym, that mentality?
Yeah. I mean, I think, like there's a few things I'm pretty good at and one of them is the bike. And so anytime we have a bike workout, everybody knows, like, dude, the first person off the bike is going to be me. I might be dead the rest of the time, but I'm going to kill it. And I think for my height and size, it's like that's an advantage for the assault bike or echo bike. And so when we have those workouts, if it's something compared with like a snatch or a clean or something, I know that I can be up on the leaderboard. Other times I don't even look at what I'm up there, but there's some of them workouts. Yeah, it makes you feel like, oh shit, I'm actually pretty good at this. And then you get humbled very quick the next day.
What are the things CrossFit's brought to your life that you've been able to apply in your kind of your everyday journey? I mean, you have a really, really busy life between, a huge social media presence, podcast, you have a real job, and then somewhere in all that you're fitting in, a reality TV show. Like, how's CrossFit helping you push through all of that?
And I think it's prioritizing things. Because like I said, we are busy. We're busy. We're running around, but we always make time for the gym. It's a good habit building. So I think just having that kind of structure around a workout, getting your stuff in, I think that kind of has helped me with just kind of gets me going. I have more energy since I've been doing this, obviously, as well. So I think that's helped in just kind of, like you're saying, mentality, like the mental part of the CrossFit. I think that's helped me as well. I mean, I'm in business, plus we do social media stuff. Like I said, the TV show, we just stopped it last year. I don't know if it's coming back or not, but we had a 10-year run on TLC. I mean, it's pretty good for a reality TV show, and it's but like, I think far as my day to day, it's just, I think just being active and moving. I mean, that's the key to getting older. I mean, longevity, is keeping moving, man. Like I said, I think back, I'm like, how many other 42-year-old male across the world are doing what we're doing? I mean, it's probably a small percent, and for what the level of stuff that we do get to do.
Yeah.
I think we lose sight of that, to be honest. Like I often lose sight. And I say this as humbly as possible. Like, I'm pretty fit for a 55-year-old, and I forget that other 55-year-olds don't do what we do. So this just feels normal when you're around people your age that do this all the time. And then you go out into the business world and you see people your age that look 10 to 15 years older, and you're like, holy crap.
Oh,
how does that happen?
I got two guys that work for me in my area, that are younger and just, they don't do any kind of working out. And they said, I was my birthday the other day. They said something, happy birthday, old man. I said, I'm still better shape than y'all two 30-year-olds. I'm like, dude, y'all got to do something, man. Like, you say it kind of jokingly and bullying a little bit, but I'm like, dude, y'all are too young to like not care about your physical self. And that does roll over to your personal and business life. I mean, so it's it is crazy. But man, I've seen your pictures, John. Your thirst traps, dude. You freaking looking buff, dude. You're looking good, man.
I mostly just send those on the side to Sean.
Yeah. Like, bro, you come on. Like, I've already said no.
Yeah. We'll let Hal up a little bit, man.
Yeah. Come on. Yeah. I wish I could go back to my 14, 15-year-old self in high school playing football and be like, you need to do this right now. Because of, like you mentioned, like, I didn't start this till I was 33. And that's the upsetting thing to me, is like the amount of time I wasted.
Yeah.
Something is always better than nothing, right? Going to the gym. Something is always better than nothing, but how much more I could have been getting out of my time, and how much better, like a more complete of an athlete I could have been.
Yeah, look at like Tyson Bagent, like, the NFL, the quarterback. He was the first one to really show. But I was like, man, you would think that the lifting and all that's good for the sports guys, but like you think about the overall fitness, you would think they would adapt more Metcon stuff for professional athletes, because man, I've seen what it does for the average Joe working out. You can imagine these high level athletes, if they did some other workouts like that, what it could do for their career.
Yeah. You came in with a sports background. You said you were a gym bro. How was your first experience at a workout? Did it wreck you? Was it normal? How'd you feel about it?
Man, you know what? I did CrossFit. I actually did it years and years ago when I lived back in Louisiana at a gym. And my first one, it was like some kind of baseline workout. I don't remember. This is well before I really knew what CrossFit was. And I threw my guts up. I mean, it was bad. And so fast forward I did the gym stuff for years. COVID hit. Me and my buddy I worked out with, he was ex-Marine. And so we started working out at his garage during COVID. And he had me running, which I hated doing. I was like 220 at the time, just kind of I had size on me, but I wasn't like fit, but I was muscular, but I wasn't like, I was kind of fluffy still, But we did that for that year. In 21 of January is when we started CrossFit. So I was actually like, it kind of like prepped me for CrossFit without even thinking about going into CrossFit. So when I did my first one, I mean, definitely was tough. I haven't done a lot of that stuff ever. I mean, I did some of those Olympic movements back in the day, but not to the level of CrossFit. So I tell people, I say, man, I scaled everything for a long time till I got the hang of it. But those first few months, I mean, it was tough, but it was like, it made you want to get better. I mean, it made you like, okay, I want to do what that guy's doing. I want to do double unders. It took me 2 years to learn how to do freaking double unders. I was like, it bugged me, but it gives you something to work toward, especially when you're, like I said, Kima's a competitive gym. So we see a lot of people that are good. So it really drives you to want to do this stuff because, especially you see somebody older than you, and this guy's killing it. You're like, what the heck, dude? Like, I should be beating this guy. Mm-hmm. But CrossFit, the age doesn't matter in CrossFit, man. Some of these people have different motors, So
I can tell you something. There is no drug, no alcohol, nothing on the planet greater than beating someone younger than you in a workout.
Yeah,
literally nothing.
I
remember once after the pandemic when we shut down gyms here in Ohio. I was going to CrossFit Cliffside, which is owned by was owned by Saxon and Spencer Panchek, and so it was kind of a competitive gym. And I'm the old guy, the oldest guy in the gym by a lot. And so we were closed for like 90 days. Well, I have this really awesome home gym, right? So I came home for that, in that 90-day period, I worked my ass off. Like literally, I wasn't like going into the field for work. So I have 2 hours a day down here in the gym, just hitting the bike or the ski erg or whatever, lifting. And then when the 90 days were up, we get back to the affiliate, and I forget exactly what the workout was, but it had running and wall balls and something else. And I'm set up right next to this 25-year-old kid who has games aspirations. And I beat him by 2 reps. And I thought he was going to cry. I swear to God, like he was not happy for the rest of the day. And I'm like, dude, you haven't done shit for 90 days. And that's all I've done for 90 days. Just give me this one. I never beat him again, ever. Yeah. But I got my one, and that was the greatest high of my life. I'll never forget it.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that's the kind of stuff that makes it fun, because you can beat somebody. You can have a good day. Somebody doesn't have as good a day. But that's bragging rights. I mean, like I said, the owner of our gym, Adam, he's I think he's like 46, 47, and man, he's really fit. And him and the young guys, they do the back of the board stuff. They do the stuff that I don't mess with, but. Whenever he beats those young guys, I mean, hey, he lets them have it, so it's fun to see because the whole gym, we all know about it and we're giving them crap. So that's it's very, and there's certain workouts that's an equalizer for the guy that's really good, but he can't lift heavy, and you can beat those guys on that. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of those things where if it's running in a heavy lift, they're going to beat me on the run all day, but I could probably get them on the lift. And so it's funny how those workouts they will handicap you as far as your level of fitness, so that makes it fun.
Yep.
Is there anything that you're able to do now that when you first came into the gym, like it's just second nature to you? Like I remember the first time someone tried to teach me how to do a handstand just against a wall. I'm like, what are we doing? This is a waste of time. Like, look at me. This is not a build. Now I can, like, it's easy for me. I can do it.
Yeah. I think, that was one. I was like, man, I've never been inverted against a wall in my life. I was like, dude, I've head rush of blood. Like it was definitely something weird. It took me a while to even learn how to like flip up to the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Then you could do it, and then, muscle ups. I got muscle ups like a year ago.
Nice.
I've always wanted to do that. I was like, man, I look cool as hell. I was like, I want to do that. And so I was strong. I could do strict pull-ups all day. Like I did that for the first 2 years. First 2 years, everything was strict. I did strict pull-ups on everything. I would do strict pull-ups in Murph.
Dang.
Because I could rip out strict pull-ups easy. I couldn't. And one of our trainers, Brady, one day when he started there, he's really good. He was like, I bet I can teach you how to do a muscle up in 30 minutes. And one that the older guy always give me and compete with, he's like, no shit, I'll take that bet. And dude, literally, we get on the thing. He's like, all right, show me your kip and pull up. I'm like, I don't know how to kip. He's like, oh crap, dude. He's like, I shouldn't have made this bet, But literally in 27 minutes, I did my first bar muscle up.
That's
because I was plenty strong enough. I just it wouldn't click in my head. And so that's the cool thing about the coaching. Like I've had plenty of people try to tell me, but he said something that made it like click, and you're like, oh, that's it. It's like the golf swing. It's like you can do whatever. Then one thing clicks and it's game over. So that was a cool thing. I mean, once he taught me one thing, my biggest fear was I was scared I was going to flip over the bar.
Yeah.
Like, dude, that is not easy to do. You're not going to flip over the bar. I'm like, all right. So once I got that out of my mind, I popped straight up there. And that was probably 215, 220 then. I've lost about 18 pounds in the past year. And so now, like the gymnastic stuff, like, man, I feel way better. I can fly around, and the workouts don't crush me as bad. Obviously they still do, but it's crazy how much of a change that it's made with the dropping body fat in this world.
Have you been intentional about changing your nutrition to fuel the workouts, or how are you handling it?
Man, yeah, I got to a point to where, like I said, man, I was always a bigger guy, but I was like kind of just extra fluff I had on me. I was that guy that you think you could outwork a bad diet. And I'm in the oil and gas world. So I eat out every lunch, bringing tacos and food to customers. So I eat one of those. And so I just made a change last March. I was like, all right, I'm going to cut sugar, bread, and tortillas. I'm going to start there, just the simplex stuff. And I did that hardcore for about 6-8 months strict. And I lost probably 10 to 12 pounds in 2 months, just inflammation and just waste. And, but man, now I got like abs showing at 42. Like, I lost a lot of fat around my pecs to where I have like defined pecs. I was like, it's crazy to where I've lost a little strength, just a little muscle wasting that happens. But man, aesthetically, kind of like hot girl fit right now. They look like you look like, I was like, you think if you see me, you're like, dude, that guy's probably good at CrossFit. But like, so don't watch me close, because I'm probably shaving reps and stuff like that too.
As long as it's accidental, that's fine. Maybe every gym has that one person you're like,
yeah, no. And like I said, there's some days I'm like, it's 15 this round. I'm like, I'll do 12. I'm like, just put me on scale and I don't care.
Yeah. As long as you admit it, that's fine. I don't so much.
I'm very vocal about it. But yeah, like I said, so it's one of those things where it made a difference to where, and you see, it's funny. We were just in Florida, and my wife, man, she's really dedicated. She goes 5 days a week at 9 a.m. with all the other like housewives. They go and they compete a lot. And her body composition, like she's always came from doing like the little bar classes at the gym. And I've always told her for years, you need to do some strength training. It makes a big difference. And then when she started doing CrossFit, and then like probably this past year when she really got hardcore into it, man, like her body composition has changed. She's strong. She's very like analytical. So like when they teach her like a Olympic movement, like her form is like perfect because she's like real dead set on doing it right versus I'm just throwing it up there, I'm doing stuff like that. I mean, so she's had a big change as well to where, I mean, her composition, her body fat, I mean, everything is changed for her. But you, like I'll get to, we were in Florida. Somebody came up to us. They're like, man, the girl told her about how her body looked. And she said, y'all do CrossFit? We're like, yeah. She goes, okay, well, I can usually tell CrossFit body person versus other people, so there is a different look as far as I think your build. And which is cool to have somebody say that to you because you're like, oh, hell yeah, that's what you hope to people notice. And they have, so I think that's a driver too. There's always the vanity side is always, so you just want to look good naked. That's the end of the day. I mean, that's what you work out for. I want to wait, take my shirt off and not feel self-conscious. That's the biggest thing. So that's been the biggest, like past year, like, just trying to eat better, cut the crap. And it's made a big difference. So where people always ask me, hey, what are you doing now? I'm like, man, it's simple, but it's not easy. I mean, it's tough to try to cut sugar, especially you got kids around the house and you got junk. So, but it's made a difference and it's helped in the gym. Obviously. I mean, like I said, anytime you can lose some weight to where you feel better running and moving around, that's helped me a lot.
Yeah. Well, it can't be helping that you're in the South with all that sweet tea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I'm not a sweet tea guy, but I know it's probably sacrilegious down here.
Yeah, a little bit.
What sweet tea was when I moved. Thinking like iced tea and like, no, sweet tea. I go, I have no clue. The West Coast, like not a thing out here. But yeah, it's
got 2 cups of sugar per pitcher, man. I'm not joking.
It's great.
I know.
Where are you guys located?
I'm in San Jose, California.
Okay.
Right San Jose.
Yeah. I'm in Cleveland, Ohio. I grew up in Tupelo, Mississippi. So I've had many a sweet tea before a workout.
Okay.
When I go down to visit my parents, and my dad belongs to CrossFit Tupelo. And we'll get up in the morning and he'll make, biscuits. And so we'll have biscuits and sweet tea before we go work out, which is a great Southern pre-workout.
Yeah.
It's really perfect.
But it's funny. I was talking about my dad being a bodybuilder. When I started doing CrossFit, we were talking about it. And he's like, man, he goes, them guys, because he'd watch the games, he'd see it online or watch the TV back in the day. He's like, those guys are freak athletes and they're strong. And, he's like, man, he goes, that's more impressive to me than the bodybuilding stuff, just because like these guys they're strong and they move. It's not just purely aesthetics. Obviously, these guys look like Fronin looks like a Greek god. I mean, like I said, you see some of these guys, like this year's games, I mean, they're all jacked. I mean, it's just incredible. These guys are freak athletes,
Did you get a chance to watch? Did you watch the games this year?
Just a little bit. We were gone, so I didn't get to watch it. I watched a lot of I caught up on Twitter and Instagram, and then I would kind of see I was trying to see who the leaderboard was and seeing how bad Tia was going to beat everybody. So really, I was the men was up in the air. I mean, I had no idea. I like Dallin Pepper. I like Hopper. I've always liked Garrard. So like I said, I liked a lot of those guys. But there's no clear, like Frazier was in it. You knew he was going to win it, and there's no clear winner now. So that's what's kind of fun to watch. Is anybody's game.
Yeah, no, it was cool. It's great, I think, to have parity on that side because for 10 years we had just 2 guys dominating with Ben Smith kind of sandwich in the middle. But it definitely makes it a lot more exciting. But I wanted to ask you about getting involved in reality TV.
Yeah.
Why? First of all, how did that opportunity come about for you to be involved in the OutDaughtered show?
So my wife's sister, she is the one that had quintuplets. So she had 5 daughters at one time. Yeah, dude, that's a lot, man. I can't. That's a lot. And they had a daughter prior. So they have so as of right now, they have a 14-year-old daughter and 5 10-year-olds. So just think about that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really, I mean, so for us, she was in the hospital bed rest a month before, and her and her husband, my brother-in-law Adam, they're big into fitness as well. great shape. I mean, she was working out, and but she was like probably the best shape of her life before she had them, which, you know, that's probably a big key to why she had a successful pregnancy. All the kids came out perfectly fine. I mean, thank God, you know, like I said, it was one of those things, like they were blessed for that. But that's kind of how it happened. I mean, a producer called them when they were there. Hey, these networks have APBs out for families of multiples or little people or party. You know, there's all kind of things they look for. And we were still living in Louisiana. They were in Texas. And so we would drive here every weekend, and we were filming at the hospital. And a month before she had them, and they put together a little thing, and TLC picked it up. And I've been an idiot my whole life. So being the dumb uncle on the show was like, it was perfect, man. And I always tell people I was cool and Uncle Jesse. I would always have the claim of America's favorite uncle, you know, kind of thing, but just having fun with it. And me and my wife being the goofy ones. So the three brother-in-laws, we worked together. My wife has a twin sister. The younger sister is the one that had quintuplets. When we're all together, there's 16 of us with 10 kids, 8 girls, 2 boys. And it was kind of like the Modern Family reality show kind of thing. We were all in each other's lives. We were close. All been together. Like me and my wife will be together. We've been together 24 years. We'll be married 18 this year. So we've all been together that long or longer. And so I think it kind of worked. And then for us, I like picking on kids, man, and people that watched it loved it, you know. So we kind of became a staple on the show, being the goofy aunt and uncle, you know. And that's kind of how that went on for 10 years. I mean, it's wild. I tell people, man, we got paid to hang out with our family. That's the coolest thing. We've been on Disney cruise, Disney World. We went to Hawaii, been to the Keys, we've been to dude ranches. I mean, we kind of did all kind of stuff to where and TLC foot the bill, man. So you can't beat it. I mean, it was kind of it was fun, but that's kind of how that all came about. I mean, it was just luck, you know. We kind of you got to ride the wave, and we took full advantage of it. And for us, like I said, our social media following came from that. Obviously, we have fans from all over the world. I mean, I forgot how many countries this has aired in. So, like, I don't have them on my phone, but notifications from Instagram are all night long. Japan, I mean, like all these countries, Brazil, we got big followings. So, kind of why I started the podcast. We took a break in the show during COVID. I was like, man, I want to do something, and started the podcast that me and my buddy had for almost 3 years. And then me and my wife have one now called Happily Ever Banner, that we just kind of go on there and talk about life and sex, and there's nothing off limits. I piss her off a lot of times on there. But, you know, it's just taking advantage of the platform we've had. But the show was purely you know, they had some kids, I mean, at the end of the day, and we got picked up for a show, and we made the most of it. So it's wild.
Yeah.
Sounds a lot like you and me, Sean. Life, sex, that's what we always talk about.
Yeah.
When you're sending me those pictures.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What's it like having, you know, reality TV too has always been fascinating to me, because it's like the second I feel like you put a camera on people, reality changes a little bit, because maybe they act differently, because now you're in their kitchen in an intimate moment where they're having a discussion or something. But how did that whole dynamic of having a camera follow you around affect the way that either you acted or your relationships with your fellow family members?
Man, with me, it didn't. I think that's what drew people to me, honestly, because I was always myself. Like, I would tell them, I said, hey, I'm going to say whatever, and you get it and use what you want. Like, I'm not going to repeat it. I'm not going to say something you want me to try to say. You know, they never really did that, but I'm like, I'm not going to say something that I'm going to get hell from my buddies back home or something like that. But I think being authentically me, I think, like I said, my biggest compliment, I'd have people that I grew up with that I haven't talked to in years, and they would see us on this show, and they would text me or call me like, dude, you haven't changed since I've known you. And that's a big compliment. I'm like, yeah, I've been exactly the same. I think that's what helped, that helped our cause, because they seen that I was just everybody has the dumb uncle in their family that says the inappropriate stuff. And I did it authentically. I didn't try to do it more for the show. I didn't try to be something I wasn't. I think that was really the key to doing it. I mean, I was always like, I'm going to be myself. I've done it my whole life. It's worked out. So let's see what happens. That's kind of how that worked out.
What if they'd come to you and said, hey, we want to follow you around the gym for a week? Would you have allowed it?
Oh yeah, for sure. Just because, I mean, hey, I was like, that ain't gonna be on TLC, that gym, what we do there. But no, you know, we've talked about that, and I'm trying to, like I said, I would be down to do that. We're working on doing some stuff at our gym. I want to get my guy to do some filming, try to do some YouTube stuff, and so, like I said, there's definitely some opportunity. And you know, Fit to Serve, Evan Slaughter, you've seen him?
Yeah, that's great.
So me and him been buddies for a while. He was on my other podcast, and I have a fantasy football league with a bunch of influencers and people over the past few years, and he's in it. But he's been talking about coming down and doing the podcast, me and my wife, and hanging out. And I told him we need to go to the gym and do some get some content. But yeah, like I would be down for it, and just being goofy, having fun. That's more my style. So kind of see what that world would look like. I would be down for the gym stuff, but it never really worked out. I mean, obviously it's about the family and the kids, but if they would be down for it, I'd be, hey, let's go.
Dude, I had the video workouts during the Open this year, and as I'm doing the workouts, I'm like, I'm moving great. I feel good. And then I watch back the videos. I'm like, oh my God, is that how I look? Is that
yeah.
You know?
Oh, they'll have that with somebody at the gym. One of the girls that does our social media, you know, everybody's working out doing a WOD, and she's walking around getting video. And same way you think, and then you see yourself doing a snatch or something, like, God, I am so slow. Like I don't have any explosive movements in my body. You know, I think that I'm doing.
I've seen myself doing like kipping pull-ups before. I'm like, I'm up there. I'm like, oh, I'm just rifling through these, and I see the video and I go, you could time me with a sundial. Like that is what is going on? I felt so much faster than it looked.
Yeah, I was doing wall balls one day. I was like, I'm moving pretty good. And like the chick next to me is really good. She was doing like 5 to my 2. I'm
like, how is that possible?
I don't even understand. You're working with gravity here. I don't know how you get the ball that much quicker than me.
I know, right? I'm just like, what happened? Like, how? No. Is you're falling at a different rate than mine? Like, what's going on here? But yeah,
I don't get it. But yeah, I'm just not quick.
Nah.
You know, there's something special about being the crazy uncle. I know you called yourself that. I'm a crazy uncle. I got, you know, six nieces and nephews, maybe more, 8. I have 8 nieces and nephews. And so I've always been crazy Uncle John. Is that a deliberate thing with you with the kids? Like, did you just relish going in and riling them up and leaving them with their family? That was always my trick.
Oh, dude, yeah. Even my buddies' kids, I'm the same. I'm rough house with kids. Like I've always been that way. I think that's how my dad was. So you kind of, you know, you definitely see the stuff you're doing as a kid, and you kind of carry that over. But yeah, same way. Like I would bring my nieces, they would get in my truck, and we would go. I would do stuff with them, and we'd play Cardi B and all kind of stuff. And I was like, hey, we ain't listening to no Kids Bop crap in my truck. Like, you're listening to unedited real music. And they tell their parents, they're like, and you know, they know, but I'm like, hey man, we're gonna have some. They know when they come to me, we're gonna have some fun. One of my brother-in-laws, their saying was like, hey, if you listen to Uncle Dale, you go to jail. So that was their saying. That's what they would tell the kids. So,
hey, just wait. I used to do that with my daughters when they were little, and we would listen to all kind of music. And the other day we're getting in the car, and Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy came on. And that was a song I used to let them listen to when they ware tiny. Yeah. And it starts playing, and my youngest, who's now in her early 20s, goes, oh my God. She's like, I had no idea what this song was about. I'm like, well, that's kind of the point, right?
Exactly.
Well, it's like the 80s and 90s songs I grew up listening to. You listen to them now, you're like, man, that's very sexual.
Yeah.
It's like, that's wild, you know? Kind of.
Oh, I was listening to 80s hair bands, and Winger came on that song 17.
17, yeah, 17. Yeah. You're like, man,
creepy listening to that now. You're like,
yeah, oh yeah.
There was a bunch of them like that, like Rat, Slip of the Lip, like all them old songs. You're like, it's a lot of like underage girl stuff. I'm like, golly, I didn't think about that.
No, right? When you're a teenager watching it, you're like, it's awesome. Kiss is great. Then you grow up and you listen to it, like, oh my God, that's like predatory.
You listen to Love Gun by Kiss, you realize what he's talking about. You're like,
oh man. What's it like having a podcast with your wife? Like I can't imagine if I even brought that up, I'd be laughed out of the room.
Yeah, so me and my buddy had one for a while, and I had some thoughts of doing. I didn't even tell her I was thinking about this. I was thinking about me and her doing something. I was like, man, because I built a podcast studio in my house.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, we need to do something. So I didn't really tell her about anything yet. I have a buddy in Canada does all my like art, graphics, my websites, and all that stuff. And I was talking to him. I was like, I want to do something with my wife. I said, until I have a name, I'm not even going to talk about it. I'm not even going to have an idea. Like, so I sent him a text. I was like, hey, I want to start a podcast with my wife. You're creative. We've been together a long time. We love each other. We talk a lot of shit, blah, blah, blah. And then he sent me back 4 names of a podcast. And one of them was Happily Ever Banter. I'm like, dude, that's perfect. Like it just kind of fit. I was like, this is perfect thing. And so I had everything kind of working. I told my wife, I'm like, hey, would you want to do it? And, she likes to have a good time as well. And she's like, yeah, let's do it. And, so I had a bunch of notes of what I thought it could be, guest, everything. And for us, it's turned in kind of like our therapy hour, which has been fun because we actually talk more intentional on that than we do in our everyday life, chasing kids, busy. So I think this really gives us a time to really talk about stuff. I'll bring up stuff that she's not expecting that catches her off guard or she gets pissed about, which is good content at the end of the day. I'm like, she gets mad after we're done. I'm like, dude, just roll with it. It's funny. But it's actually been really fun. I mean, so we've been doing more with that. We've had people reach out to us. We've had quite a few like marriage counselors on, people that like we had the sex therapist Xander and Vanessa Marin on recently. They have like over 1 million followers. Had them on. So like I said, that's been fun, just kind of getting these conversations out there. But like I said, I think just for us, when me and her are just by ourselves, I mean, it's a good time for me and her to talk and kind of just shoot the shit, for us, which makes it fun. I wasn't really sure how it was going to go, but we're 80 episodes in now. So, I mean, it's rolling, so it's fun. It's definitely different than like, hey, y'all two together, me and my buddy, it's so easy to kind of just riff and go back and forth, guy talk. And me and her, it took a little while. She's like, well, I don't know what to say. I'm like, you gotta just keep talking and then things will come out, so it's a little different with your wife versus your bros, but it's been good. It's been fun. I mean, we got some sponsorships, we're doing things, and it's like, man, we can go upstairs and knock one out. So that makes it easy. I don't have to go somewhere. I don't have to coordinate somebody else's schedule. So it makes it nice. But it was she was game. So
that's cool.
I love it. Do you guys work out together? Do you partner WODs together?
Man, every once in a while. Our Saturdays are always so booked with kids sports, so we don't really get to do but every once in a while I'll go to Fridays. I'll drop into the 9 a.m. with class with her, or she'll come to my afternoon classes sometimes. And so it is fun. We haven't worked out together. Usually when we go, even partner was, I'm like, dude, you're not my partner. I'm going with my buddy. Like, you go with your friend over there. So just so we can beat them. I don't want to, I want to beat her. I get to see her scores at 9 a.m. And so I know, like, when I get to the gym, I'm like, all right, I need to at least beat this time to where I have some bragging rights. And so, I think that's the fun part of being the competitiveness in CrossFit.
You mentioned being able to talk intently on your podcast. And I've found, like, with a lot of marriages, one thing that goes out the door, especially when you have kids and you get so busy, is like time really building your relationship and maintaining your relationship with your significant other. You obviously have a successful marriage. I'm sure there's been ups and downs. How have you navigated sort of the valleys, and what advice would you give to people to help them get past those points in their relationships?
Yeah, I mean, dude, we're still working on that. We've been having conversations, and I seen something on another podcast, or I read a book, had it I was talking about that. So, we don't have intentional conversations. I feel like we don't, we talk, but it's not like we're getting into the stuff. Obviously the podcast has helped. And I was talking about, the difference between men and women. I was like, I said, when I don't feel like we're talking much, obviously men use sex. Like that's the connection I feel like we use as closeness and with our partner.
Yeah.
And so we've talked about that as well. But, for us, we use this time for that. We try to every once in a while we'll go take walks in the evening and try to talk. Just trying to do that. I'm not a share your feelings kind of guy. So being vulnerable is tough, but it's like, you got to get it out there somehow. So there's sometimes I'm like, I'll tell her something and then, she goes off on her. I'm like, I shouldn't even told you this shit. Like, this is why we don't talk about stuff, but you got to work at it because like I said, yeah, we've been together since we were 19. We're 42 now. We've been together longer than we haven't been together now in our life. And so, you got to just make it work, man. We like being together. We like spending time together. Our kids are at the age now where they don't want to do anything with us. So we get date nights all the time now, they have babysitters. So it's actually really nice. So we make a lot of time for ourselves. But the working on being intentional is, man, it's constant, it's always in the back of your mind. And so it's tough. And it's one of those things where you got to at least try to figure it out, because we had a marriage counselor on. She goes, yeah, most people, when they come to me, it's already too late. She's like, once they decide to come to me for a marriage counseling, she's like, it's almost imminent that it's at the very end to where it's tough to try to save it. So if you really want to be a good spouse and have a great relationship, it's work, man. Like I said, there's plenty of ups and downs and stresses and money and kids, everything, kids sports. I mean, everything's so hectic and expensive. And so it's not easy, man. That's why I think that's where you see the rate of marriage these days, how it is, man. It's tough, but we genuinely like to be with each other. So that helps. Cause like I said, man, we're a few years away from having our first kid out of the house. It's crazy to even think that, so you better enjoy your spouse, because if not, you're going to have a miserable rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as someone who has their kids out of the house, it's a beautiful moment. Just
I bet. No, I get it, man. You got your naked room back, dude.
Yeah. well, there is that, but you still miss them. It's wild how much you still miss them when they're gone. Yeah. You think the whole time is like, you think that, I can run around naked now, and then they're gone and you're like, no, I don't even want to. I wish they were still around. I wish I was still going to, high school track meets or whatever the event was at the time. You just end up missing it.
Yeah. The owner of my company, both his kids are, one's out of college, one's in college, and he'll see stuff. Me and my daughter and my son playing golf, or I'm going to events. He's like, dude, I miss that more than anything. He's like, I enjoy my life now, but I miss the hustle and bustle of what you were doing with the kids, just the chaos in the house. Like, he said, you're going to miss it. You hear all that stuff. Just like when you have kids, they're like, oh man, don't blink. It happens so quick. You hear this old cliche stuff, but then like it does. I mean, like I said, I got a sophomore in high school now. I feel like I just had her,
Yeah.
What are some things? I was like, sorry, go ahead, John.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was going to ask, like, what are some things when you look back at, parenting your kids that, I don't want to say like maybe you wish you would have done differently, or that you things that you've learned that you would tell people, hey, this is what worked for me, or your kind of your menu of things that if you're going to be a good dad, here's kind of like your 3, and then you apply them however you want.
Man, I was just always heavily involved. I came from my parents divorced when I was 5. Like I don't even remember that, but like I said, I seen my dad every other weekend for however many years, and like, I remember him not being at games and things like that. So like, man, I'm very intentional of like being there, being involved. There'll be weekends where my son's playing here, my daughter's playing in the hour away, and I'm watching one, hauling ass to get back to watch the other, and making sure. I mean, she had her first JV high school scrimmage game yesterday so I was able to go see that before I went and played golf with some customers. Went and did that. I think just being present, that's been the biggest thing for me, is like being there, showing that you care, and trying to be involved in their lives. Because like I said, I think one of those things, you either, we talked about this with this marriage counselor, is like you either kind of continue the cycle or break the cycle. And for me, I was like, man, I want to make sure that they see the affection and love, and being present in their life, and kind of being everywhere, and showing up at all events. And the cool thing nowadays, if we go to I'll go to a practice or like a game or anything, and you see I'm sitting there with all the dads hanging out, so it's cool to see that the dads are way more involved. And our generation was way different,
Mm-hmm.
It's not a knock on them. It was a different world. I mean, they were straight to the, they were working, and that was their biggest thing. And I think we've all changed because of what we saw. So I think that's been the coolest change, is you see all the dads there, you see both parents at practices and things like that. I think it's a big part of the kids, man. They think about that. Like I seen a meme the other day. It said, hey, only in 15 years, 20 years, the only person going to know you worked late is your kids. It's like, that's like, so I was real big. I've always been real big on my work-life balance. Like, man, I work hard. I'm in a 24/7 business that can happen anytime. But whenever I'm done with my work, like, man, I'm fully in on the kid stuff and doing my other things, to where they see that, and they know, like, hey, you can work hard but still have a life outside of work.
When my kids were your kids' age, I wish I had been more deliberate on their nutrition, because now when they're in college, they just roll in with Taco Bell and pizza and all the stuff I can no longer eat. I'm like, man, if I had trained them better when they were younger, I wouldn't be so jealous now of how they're able to live their lives.
No, I know. The good thing, you're a product of your environment. So our kids seeing us active and healthy, obviously that's really good. They play sports, but I'm real big on them eating protein. Like, I'm like, dude, you need to eat some protein. You need to do this. You need to do that. Like, I really preach that, because they got their friends that they don't eat. And I see these kids, their friends are always sick. I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, it's because of the way they eat. Like, they don't eat right. They're eating junk. I was like, you need to eat right, because our kids, knock on wood, they don't get sick much. I mean, they don't. I mean, I think it's a product of how they fuel themselves, like all that stuff. It plays a part in that. So I'm a big proponent of it. So like, I'm kind of strict on the eating part. I make sure that they eat. I'll get up, like my daughter she would do early morning volleyball before school, and I would get up extra early to cook her some eggs and do some stuff. I'm like, you need to eat some real food. Don't eat some cereal before a bunch of junk. And so, teach them about fueling their bodies and doing that. It is a good thing for kids, because bad habits carry on the rest of your life, man. You know how that is.
Mm-hmm.
I did it for too long, and
Yeah.
They still sneak back in it from time to time too.
Oh, no doubt. Like I said, hey, you gotta enjoy life in the foods. And I'm a foodie, so trust me, it's a balance I gotta have. But at least if you know what you're doing, and you can kind of dial it back, and then have your splurges. Like, dude, don't be a robot, but you need to enjoy the fun things in life too.
What's your go-to kind of cheat meal or splurge meal?
Man, I don't know. I don't really have anything like I don't crave pizza. But it's funny, when I was doing the no bread, sugar, carb thing real hard, I would crave pizza. I would have it like once a week.
Yeah.
I'd have one cheat meal and it'd be pizza. And I'm not even a big pizza guy, but I think my biggest vice is freaking like gummy candy, dude. That's the worst thing.
That's not bad.
I know, but dude, it's a bunch of sugar. But I was like, man, I that's probably my biggest vice, because like I said, I'm a very big creature of habit, so I could eat the same meal every day. My wife can't. I was like, dude, if you could, this makes that so much easier. And I could do that for the rest of my life. I really could. And she can't. So she's like, well, I need to change it up some. I'm like, well, I get it, but I don't feel like going to search on Pinterest for all these freaking recipes either, because it's just, I like to keep it easy. That's why I go Chipotle all the dang time.
Oh, love Chipotle.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. It's funny, in my old podcast, we were trying to get somebody from Chipotle on because I ate it every day for years.
What's your go-to order?
Man, light rice, double bowl. I give like half the scoop of rice, double meat, guac, and a little bit of cheese. That's it. I keep it simple.
I'm almost there with you. Like I maybe add lettuce and a little bit of mild salsa, but then I'll get the chips and I use the chips to eat. It's those chips. I don't know what they put in them, but they're phenomenal.
Have you had that new honey chicken?
I haven't.
That's a game changer.
All right.
It's the best, man. I'm telling you right now, it's unreal. Yeah, I could eat Chipotle every day, the rest of my life, and be happy.
That's kind of my one where I know, like, I know I'm gonna overeat here because
it's my go-to.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff.
I love it. You joked at the top of this that, of course, you would be the guy we have on after Frazier and Hepner. But the truth is, you're our ideal guest, like someone in the real world applying, the CrossFit methodology to their everyday life. It sounds like, nutritionally and physically. So I really appreciate what you're doing out there. What is next for you? Like, what are your future goals within CrossFit or even your goals that you're planning to apply to your life?
Man, CrossFit goals, I think it's more, I haven't been going as much lately. And I think that, I've talked about this with some guys. I think that I've lost some weight and I feel better and I look better aesthetically, to where I don't feel like I'm overtraining to outbeat what I was doing in the nutrition world. So if I have to miss because I'm busy, or like if I'm on the fence, like, man, I got something to do at 5:30. If I work out until 4:30, I'm gonna be wrecked and be nasty and try to clean up. So I got to get more back on my schedule, because right now I'm like doing 2 to 3 days a week. I used to be a 5-day-a-week guy because I love being there. But I think obviously just the aesthetics and feeling better, it's helped me feel like I don't have to go. And I feel guilty for that. You pay enough money for it. I was like, I need to take more advantage. I think for me, it's just getting back more into my routine of being there every day, just to be with the guys and the girls that you work out with, and just it makes it really fun. I think that's my biggest goal. I don't have any aspirations to do any kind of competitions except their inner gym. My wife did her first competition just recently, her and 2 other girls, and they like they're all, my wife's 42, the other 2 girls are like, one was 38 and the other one's 44, and like they got third amongst, and like the 2 other teams that beat them were like in their 20s, but they podiumed in their first CrossFit event. And man, it was fun to watch, because my wife's never done it and she was nervous, but I'm like, just go kill it, and man, she shined in a few of the workouts where she made a difference in the overall deal. So it's a big confidence boost. It's fun to watch, but like, dude, I don't have any desire to want to do that outside of that. But I think working on a few of the skill things I need to get better on, and just kind of be, even in there, a little more intentional, because I'll show up at 3:30 and I'm still on the phone for work, and I'll half-ass the strength part and get ready for the WOD. Mm-hmm. And back in the day, man, like I said, we would go in there and it's like we're getting at it. So I need to get more intentional on doing that. I want to put a little more muscle size on. So I think I need to work on trying to be more dedicated in it, because the results are there if you put in the work. I mean, so that's the biggest thing for me.
I love your approach, though. I mean, you've said it multiple times here. Like, you show up, sometimes you scale, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you're putting full effort, sometimes you don't. But it's not frustrating you. You're showing up. And I think that's what people miss. They think I have to go and I have to be at 100% intensity 5 days a week. 2 days a week sometimes is enough. If you feel good, it's enough. 3 days a week, if you feel good, it's enough. And so I think your approach is super healthy and really important for people to hear, because a lot of idiots out there like myself like to go in and just beat ourselves down until we can barely walk. And we think we're doing good for ourselves when in reality we're doing the opposite.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, for me, like I told you, I just want to go in, get a good sweat, and feel like I did something to where I'm like, okay, you get a little better, get moving. You just feel it's the mental clarity and the things after a workout. It's worth it, and that's why I tell people. And I talk to people of all ages, even outside of the social media world in the real life, and they talk to me about fitness or ask me what I'm doing, and they're like, man, I don't know about CrossFit. I'm like, man, it is the most inclusive style of workout. I was like, we got people from all age ranges, ethnicities, everything. I'm like, you can go in there, you can get a good workout, and it can be tailored to you. You don't have to be intimidated by these other guys. Trust me, the first day I showed up, there was nothing but dudes with shirts off, and they were jacked. I'm like, dude, this is crazy. But they're all super nice and inviting, and like, that's the biggest thing I think about CrossFit is most gyms are like that. And but I tell people, any fitness level, I got one of my good buddies. He's never worked out before. He's 44, 45, never worked out in his life. He just started CrossFit, and he's been going 3 days a week. And he's like, dude, it's killing me. He's like, but I love it. I'm like, yeah, that's it. I was like, man, go at your own pace until you feel better to start doing more that you want to do. But at the end of the day, man, it just come start moving. You've been a long time without being active. I was like, because he was the same way. He's like, dude, I feel like I'm so tired playing golf. I was like, come do this. This will help build up that. You may notice that way before you have any physical changes, but you're going to feel that internally when you're working, like playing golf and things like that. So that's what I try to tell people. Is like, man, it's for everybody, and it can be tailored to anybody. So that's the beauty of it. The gym is not that inclusive, I feel. I mean, like I said, I never had a problem there being a male, but there's my wife never wanted to go on the gym floor at our gym. She's like, oh, there's guys around. I'm like, they don't really care, but it's crazy how at the CrossFit gym it's very welcoming, and our gym and especially. So I think that's what makes it fun, man. I'm always the guy. Anybody new shows up, I'm the first one to go greet them and start giving them shit, and I think that's what's, I want to make sure everybody feels welcome, and I know everybody. I make these stupid videos on our CrossFit member page on Facebook with their faces on them. I do so when new people come in, I'm like, what's your birthday? And I make sure, so I do their birthdays, and like, so it's just that little bit, man. It's fun. I really enjoy it.
I think it means a lot too. Yeah, when someone like yourself, who looks like you, and they might know you from outside, like actually takes the time to come and say hi. I've found that, like, I try to do that as well. Like if there's someone new, I try to introduce myself at the end. And say, hey, you're gonna really like it here, and I feel like you can see sort of this I don't know, this tension leave, and they're all oh okay, because I guarantee you that person's probably been to a bunch of other gyms and never had that experience of someone coming up and saying, hey, you're doing a great job. That's awesome,
and nobody talked to them, and they hear your voice, you're like, do you sound familiar? Because they probably heard you for all the years on the games.
I've gotten that a couple times, like, oh, now I know who you are.
I've done it before, because I'll talk somebody. I've been to the grocery store, like, they look like, you Uncle Dale? I'm like, yeah. They heard my voice.
Yeah.
And they recognize me. But like I said, I've always been that, like I said, as far as about being yourself, man, I've always been the one that's going to talk to everybody. I treat everybody the same. I'm going to pick on and joke with everybody. And like I said, I don't, like I tell people, I was like, dude, we were on a TV show, but we didn't do anything to get this. It's not like we're not movie stars. We just happen to be on a TV show. I was like, so I tell people, because people come to us like, man, I'm so nervous. I don't want to bother you. I'm like, man, we're normal people. We just happen to be on a TV show. Like we ain't no better than you. I ain't no, it's just how it is. Like we're human beings at the end of the day. So I think that goes a long way. I think that's helped our stock in the show, because I interact with a lot of people, fans, through social media on the DMs, and just engagement, like just genuine, but I think that helps, because there's so many times you hear about not athletes, but famous people, and you hear bad stories about how they're jerks or whatever. And that gets around,
Yeah.
So
whenever. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Well, I was gonna say, whenever I run into people that recognize me, first thing I say is, "Look, don't make eye contact with me." All right. No eye contact whatsoever. Yes, I'll sign your breast. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Oh, it's so funny.
You've seen this picture of me in a towel, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah, no kid. Hey, you know what's funny, dude? Rich Fonan started following me like a while back on Instagram out of the blue one morning.
That's pretty cool.
Like, so I messaged him and he's like, and we started like kind of chopping it up. But I was like, he must have seen how good I was at CrossFit, and I was like,
yeah, that was it. That was it.
He's looking for some pointers, you know. But it's cool, man. I was like, yeah, I've met him before in Bridges. We used to go to the Rogue Invitational every year when it had in Round Rock.
Mm-hmm.
So we went 3 years in a row before the last year and went to Scotland or whatever. And we met a bunch of them. And I have quite a few of the CrossFit athletes that's followed me back that I've talked to over the years. And so, it's cool. Like, they're ordinary people. They just happen to be really good at fitness at the end of the day, but they are still kind of celebrities, in this space. So I think that's pretty cool. Like, just getting into it, the people I've connected with in this world, and everybody's been super cool. I think it's good for the sport.
Well, Dale, thanks so much for taking the time to do this, man. I know you're super busy and really appreciate it. And if people want to podcast, is Happily Ever Banter?
Happily Ever Banter podcast. Yeah, me and Uncle Dale and Kiki. So yeah, come check us out, man. It's real and raw. So I can tell you that it's you never know what's going to come up because we don't really plan anything out. It just comes out. But
that's great.
But yeah, man. So yeah, I appreciate y'all's time, man. Like I said, John, I followed you for a while. We've talked back and forth over the years. Sean, like I've seen you for years. Trust me. Even before I did CrossFit, I would watch the CrossFit games. So I was familiar with you well before.
Well, thanks, man.
So I appreciate the opportunity, man. This has been fun.
Yeah, it's been a blast. Really enjoyed this, man. And say hi to the whole community there at CrossFit Kima, and hi to your wife, and hope everything works. Hope all continues to go well for you in the future here.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I'll let y'all know if I get a new skill down. I'll let y'all know because, like I said, it's something to brag about. My wife posts every time she has a PR at the gym, so she's excited.
Yeah, those days are long gone for me. I'm just like, trying to maintain what I got.
That's it. That's it, man. Well, right, John, thank y'all so much, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, thanks for joining.
Yes, sir. Bye.
That was fun.
That was great. That was really cool.
He's a good dude. It was funny when I invited him on. My grandmother's maiden name is Mills.
Oh, okay.
And he's from the South. I'm from the South. I'm like, I wonder if we're related. And then I saw that hairline. I'm like, no, we're not related. There's no chance.
Yeah, damn it.
Yeah, no chance. The dude's way too good looking, way too much hair. Dude's way too successful. No way he's related to my family.
I really want to check out that podcast he has with his wife because it's, and he is right. Like trying to be intentional in conversation, I think specifically for men is really hard. And it is something that you need to practice and you need to develop. And I think that it's kind of an unlock to a good relationship, like being able to have those conversations, be present, be vulnerable, like you talked about. And I feel like it's one of those things where when you first try to do it, it's going to kind of come out like super awkward but it's just like CrossFit. You got to continue train it, and it's a skill. And that's absolutely something that I'm working on. So I'd really love to hear how like that dynamic between him and his wife and how they navigate through that.
You don't want to start another side hustle podcast with your wife?
Oh, God, like I said, if I brought that up, I would get laughed out of the room. Like it wouldn't even you're crazy. What are you doing now? Yeah, it would be interesting though.
Just let her sub for you one week. She and I can run a podcast together. It'll be fun.
Okay. If I said that she could do it with you, then she'd be, oh, that's great. Because she thinks you're hilarious. So
she's right. I love that dude. I think he had so many nuggets of wisdom, and I said it to him, but honestly, like that's my vision for this podcast. Bring more people on that can just share the things they're doing in their everyday life that aren't the Rich Fronings of the world.
Yeah. And
but
are the Rich Fronings of the world. I love talking about
yeah.
But those stories from the regular people in the gym. And I guarantee you, like you have people, whoever's listening to this, there's someone in your gym who's got a really great story, who's dealt with whatever to get there. I remember being in Toronto for the Invitational and talking to this guy at a gym who had, he was originally from Iraq, and it was a crazy story. Like he was on the operating table for some eye condition when the doctors had to evacuate. He was mid-surgery.
Oh, wow.
And so they had to get someone else in there really quick just to sort of meatball the surgery up. And he had this condition, and CrossFit helped him get through. He made his way to Toronto, and CrossFit helped him get through that condition. Like that's incredible. Like those stories are everywhere.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And in Dale's situation where, he started, we'll call it later in life, although I'm much later in life, but I'm finding that more and more where people are starting in their 30s and 40s, not starting in their 20s, and seeing the changes it's made in their life. And then they get this moment where like, oh crap, I can get some aesthetic changes. Mm-hmm. I do feel better. I am setting a better example for my kids. Maybe I should make them start eating more protein. Like all these things start to snowball on top of each other and creates this entirely new you on top of the you already had. And I just find that really, really cool what that journey looks like for people. And I'm just really happy for him and his family, how well it's working out. And, obviously they've got, a ton of stuff going on, but it's just really cool to see people applying that in their everyday life.
Yeah. And I think it's a great reminder too. Like you said, he's a normal guy who just happened to be on a TV show. And I think most people are like that. And I get starstruck when I meet people and stuff. And then I find that if you just kind of talk to them like down to earth, that more often than not, you realize they're just, these are just normal people too, who have a pretty extraordinary job or an extraordinary life. But at the end of the day, there's a lot more that we have in common than we don't.
Yep. Fun times. Well, listen, I'm not sure who we have on next after him. I think it might be Maddie Rogers, but it'll depend a little bit on timing. I know we've got her coming up, and then you and I are going to be in Columbus together in a couple of weeks. So it could be that episode. I don't know, but
who knows when you'll be listening to this, we might already be in Columbus. So but I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be fun. I love that Columbus downtown area because I go there for the Arnold is fantastic. You got Jenny's ice cream down there. Definitely going to be getting some Jenny's. A lot of great places to eat. It's really walkable. There's some great places to hang out. So it's fantastic.
Yeah, the whole North Shore area where that convention center is and the downtown area are just fantastic. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah,
and good chance to reconnect with people I haven't seen in a long time. So I'm pretty excited about that.
All right, man.
All right. Well, this is fun. I guess I will see you next Tuesday.
I will see you next Tuesday, my friend.